Welcome to the Conference of the Parties, COP, the world's largest annual climate summit where nearly 200 countries come together to decide the future of our planet. What's inside the COP venue? The COP venue is split into two main areas. The blue zone is the official UN space. This is where negotiations, press conferences, and observer actions happen. You need a UNFCCC accreditation letter to enter. The green zone is typically hosted by the presidency and open to the public. It includes exhibits, cultural events, and youth spaces. Pro tip: download the COP mobile app or check the UNFCCC website daily for the official schedule. Who are the actors in the UNFCCC? Participants at COP are categorized into multiple groups and can be identified by their badge color. Party delegates. These are negotiators and officials representing countries. They receive a pink badge. Observers. NGOs, youth, indigenous peoples, businesses, scientists, city leaders, and more. They receive a yellow badge. Media. Journalists and storytellers from all over the world. They receive an orange badge. And Secretariat and UN entities. The UNFCCC Secretariat team that makes the process run smoothly in other agencies. They receive a blue badge. Where can I go with my badge? Because it is a party-driven process, not all badges are created equally. Let's break down what each color means and what access it gives you. Party badges, the pink ones, can access every negotiation and every event at the venue. Some countries send a lot of delegates, resulting in some party delegates receiving party overflow badges. Participants with this badge still can have access to negotiations, but if space becomes limited, they will be asked to watch the negotiations from the overflow room or via the virtual platform. Observer badges, the yellow ones, can access every informal negotiation room. Throughout the venue, you will see the daily program on TV screens that indicate negotiation rooms and whether they are open or closed to observers. Use this as a guide to what rooms you can join. The media does not typically observe negotiations and has their own established area to meet and report on outcomes. How are parties grouped together? With nearly every country in the world at the table, individual negotiations would be endless. To streamline the process, countries are organized into groups based on factors like their level of economic development, responsibility for climate change, and capacity to respond. These groupings help build consensus and move negotiations forward more efficiently. Under the UNFCCC, parties are grouped based on their responsibility for climate change. Annex 1 countries are high-income countries as well as countries transitioning between developing and developed, known as economies in transition, such as Poland and Mexico. Annex 1 and 2 countries are high-income countries included in Annex 1, such as the United States, Russia, Australia, Canada, and the European Union, that are primarily responsible for climate change and are developed economies mandated to deliver finance that supports solutions. Non-Annex 1 countries are least developed countries that have limited capacity to respond to climate change and are often the least responsible, such as Tuvalu, Liberia, and Honduras. Though categorizing countries as developed versus developing is widely considered an outdated process, the UNFCCC still recognizes these categories due to its establishment in 1992. It is not mandatory that every country that is part of the UNFCCC is part of the Paris Agreement. However, these parties can participate in Paris Agreement meetings as observers and do not have decision-making rights until they ratify the agreement. Parties have also self-organized into groups known as blocks to negotiate based on shared characteristics, interests, and needs. Some of these blocks are more active than others, and many countries are in multiple groups. Some of these blocks include Small Island Developing States, the Independent Alliance of Latin American and the Caribbean, African Group, Arab States, the Umbrella Group, the G77 in China, which is a group of 133 developing countries who generally work together to establish common negotiation positions, Brazil, South Africa, China, and India, who make up the basic countries, like-minded developing states, the Environmental Integrity Group, and the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. What role does civil society play? Non-party stakeholders play an essential role as observers to the process who are able to meet with party stakeholders and often share statements on what outcomes they feel are necessary to be included within the text being discussed. Many NGOs gather in officially recognized groupings called constituencies, which represent various interests and are international in nature. You can learn more about the constituencies in the civil society section of our next video. How do negotiations actually happen? At COP, negotiations unfold in many different formats, each with its own tone, purpose, and level of formality. From plenary halls to closed-door conversations, each step plays a role in shaping the final outcomes. In this section, we'll walk you through how the negotiation process really works, from the opening gavel to the adoption of decisions and everything in between. The plenary is the formal stage. It's where all parties show up to review texts, deliver statements, and eventually adopt decisions. It's where the process begins and it ends. Negotiations at COP begin with the opening plenary, which is a formal moment where countries agree on the agenda and officially launch the work ahead. Once the work is launched, discussions move into contact groups. These are formal meetings where negotiators tackle specific agenda items by drafting and revising text, paragraph by paragraph. To dive deeper into the details, negotiators shift into informal consultations. These are more flexible working sessions where the real substance of the text is debated. This includes ironing out language, bridging gaps, and refining proposals. Both formats are guided by co-facilitators who help parties shape decision language. Some sessions may be open to observers, especially at the beginning, but as access is often restricted as discussions become more sensitive. As negotiations unfold, several side processes begin to influence the outcomes. These happen alongside formal sessions and carry just as much weight. Informal informals are smaller closed-door conversations where parties speak more openly. These spaces are used to test compromises, build trust, and restore deadlocks away from the spotlight. Huddles are even more spontaneous. They usually happen in the corridors when time is short and tensions are high, offering a last-minute chance to strike a deal. Bilateral and multilateral meetings also take place throughout. These are informal discussions between countries or groups of countries, used to align positions, clarify concerns, and build momentum behind the scenes. They can also be set up as informal conversations with parties, negotiators, the presidency, or other actors, including observers. If you're looking to organize one, start by reaching out to the person or group you want to meet with. If they're interested, you'll need to book a room on site or find a place to meet, like the food court or a hallway, and come prepared with a clear message and desired outcome of your meeting. And when the technical talks are no longer enough, ministerial consultations step in. Ministers bring political guidance to help unlock progress and work to move parties closer to consensus on the most challenging issues. Once consensus is reached, the final text returns to the plenary. This is where decisions are formally adopted by all parties, but when consensus isn't possible, not everything gets resolved. Some items may fall under Rule 16, which means they're postponed and automatically forwarded to the next session without a decision. The adoption of decisions in the plenary marks the end of the negotiation phase at COP, but only the beginning of implementation. Decisions taken here guide how countries act on climate change at home, how funding is delivered, how progress is tracked, and how ambition is raised. So the process doesn't end with the gavel. Climate negotiations continue year-round through a series of formal and informal meetings, including technical bodies, work programs, constituted bodies, and high-level political processes. The UNFCCC Secretariat supports this entire ecosystem. It arranges meetings, prepares negotiation documents, provides scientific and technical expertise, facilitates transparency and reporting, and ensures that parties have the tools and coordination they need to move from decisions to real-world action. In many ways, the Secretariat is the engine behind the process, keeping things running between COPs and helping transform global agreements into meaningful results on the ground. But not everything at COP happens in the negotiation rooms. Side events organized by observers and parties are spaces for knowledge sharing, capacity building, and networking. While they don't affect negotiations directly, many negotiators attend these events between sessions. You never know who might be in the audience, so get familiar with faces you want to influence and have conversations with at COP. Check speakers lists, attend networking events, and use these moments to connect. One good conversation might be your way into shaping a climate policy. The UNFCCC events can be overwhelming. Here are some must-know tips. Bring your badge every day. You can't get in without it. Arrive early. Lines can be long. Plan your days. Prioritize sessions and events in advance. Stay hydrated and well-rested. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Wear comfortable shoes and dress professionally. Follow the UNFCCC updates and social media feeds for live announcements. Bring a journal or a laptop. Note down every acronym and resource to follow up with. Bring business cards or use a QR code to share your contact information with others that you meet. And most importantly, make connections. You're a part of a global community working for climate justice.